welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kela Trishaan, and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, mental health. I do a lot of vlogs on day in the life with a toddler, day in the life working in the insurance industry, anything you can think of. So if that interests you, definitely go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Be sure to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you for your support. So as you can see, I've got a lot of new faces here. You've seen this one before. You've seen this one before, but these are the rest of my siblings. So we thought that it would be really fun to do a video just talking about our birth order. As you can see, there's 5 of us. I don't know a lot of families right now that have 5 siblings. And so I wanted to just talk about our birth order and just how it was growing up and how that's affected us in adulthood. So we'll start with introductions and then we'll get right into the video. I am Kela and I am the oldest girl.
I'm Farahd and I'm the firstborn son.
I'm Samad and I'm the middle child.
I'm Tsion and I'm the youngest girl.
And then Qyiim and I'm the youngest son.
All right, so now that we got those introductions out the way, let's talk about the charcuterie board. So as you know, whenever I do a Carpet Chronicles video, I love to have food involved because why not? So we have this nice pretty board, and we've got some strawberries, some seedless red grapes, and some seedless green grapes, all from Whole Foods. That's like my spot to get my fresh produce. We have some cheese right here. I couldn't find the cube cheese, so I just bought some cheese sticks and cut it up because, you know, we improvise when we can't find what we need. And then we have some dark chocolate. And for our meat eaters, she don't eat meat, but for our meat eaters, we have some organic turkey sausage. So, oh, and then I can't forget the water. It's daytime, we still got things to do, so water it is with ice. Without further ado though, let's get into the video.
Who's gonna take it next?
Well, I got food in my mouth. Okay, so the first question that I wanted to kind of present to the group, just to kind of give everybody an idea of what it's like. I want to talk about what is your birth position, although we already kind of did that in introductions. Like, what is your birth position and how did that affect you in childhood? So I'm going to go on ahead and start off with the youngest, Qyiim. So if you would do us the honors.
Yeah, so my name is Qyiim. I'm the youngest of the 5. And I'm the youngest, so I pretty much like seen everything growing up. I pretty much seen it from like a bird's eye view, per se, you know. So like right, you feel me? So like me, I was just like, I feel like it actually helped me in a sense, you feel me? Because like I feel like my like I just got like a better understanding of like different things, but I feel like the negative parts of that, you know, I feel like I was trying to grow too soon, so like now I'm like a square, you feel me? So I just be chilling, you feel me, just making my braids and I play, you know. But that's just, you know, but you know, so that's pretty much how my childhood was. I was just pretty much just seeing everything from the background, you feel me? So that's how that was.
I heard that. All right, so Tsion, can you tell us about your experience?
Sure thing. So growing up as the youngest girl, I would say it's very similar to Qyiim's as far as being a sponge, having 4 older siblings, 3 right here, but just to be able to get the different perspectives of, okay, this is my older brother, he's 2 years older than me, then there's 3 years, then this one is 6 years older. So just having like all those different perspectives to be able to bounce off and to kind of, you know, conceptualize in my own way to be able to know, okay, well, if that happened that they had, I don't want to experience that same thing, you know, so I'm going to probably move things a little bit different. And then also I did have the privilege of going to school with, I went to school with him and I went to school with these 2. Didn't necessarily get to go to school with her, so it was also cool having like siblings there, like in elementary, the different elementaries that I went to. It was always like, you know, I get my big brother on you if that was the case, and then vice versa. If, you know, he'd in kindergarten, I'm gonna get my big sister, you know. So it was cool also having that experience as well. So positive, negative, you know, sometimes being the youngest, I feel like sometimes your voice isn't as heard because it gets pushed off as you're the younger child, even though everyone knows sometimes the youngest ones often become a little bit more wiser. I'm just throwing that in there, but you know.
Oh my God. Okay, so thank you for that, Tsion. Samad, can you let us know your experience?
Well, my experience as a middle child, it was kind of like, at first growing up, I didn't really recognize that I was the middle child. But then growing up, you realize like, man, you got some older siblings and some younger siblings, and you directly in the middle. You know, so for me, it was like a balance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand what it's like being the younger brother. I understand what it's like being the older brother. You know what I'm saying? So, the older I got growing up, the more I felt like, okay, dang, I do got some responsibilities younger than me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it was cool. It was like a balance, and I always felt like I was just in the middle, you know, so I could relate to the older ones, I could relate to the younger ones, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, so that's pretty much it, you know. Just the balance, you know. I'm a Virgo, but felt like a Libra scale growing up sometimes, just because you being in the middle, you know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that, Samad. Now, Farahd, what was your experience?
All right. So, me being the first son, being the first boy here in the family, for me it was more or less, I was also the first boy, so it's like I wanted to try new things. And sometimes with her being, you know, my older sibling, I tend to look at certain things she's doing, but then also she was a girl, so I wanted to approach certain things differently. But then also with me next, you know, follow along with them behind it, you know, it put me in a space where, all right, well, not saying they're more or less more important, but I kind of got stuck in the middle a little bit. And so I wanted to, again, try new things. But at the same time, I got to see from, I guess, my perspective, certain things that I've been through. I get to kind of pass along some information and hope, you know, maybe, I guess, hope for the best for the next person. Overall, I think my experience as being the second child it's been a nice balance from having, I guess, an older sister, and I do have an older brother, whatever, but being in the house, me having my younger brothers, it was always a sense of, I want to lead, but it's at the same time, with also me having a sibling that's around the same age, you know, it was cool because it was like, I can always double plan, or I can make sure I can have an idea and I can kind of follow suit. Hey, my little brothers or even my older sister. So it's kind of like in a sense, kind of like him. I can find balance between.
Okay. I appreciate your perspective, Farahd. All right, so me being the oldest, I feel like my experience is kind of opposite than what Qyiim's experience would be, in a sense that I didn't really have a blueprint. Since I'm the first daughter, so as I mentioned, we do have an older brother, but we're doing just the 5 of us for the video purposes because we grew up in the house together. He grew up in another home. So although I had an older brother, there's also an 8-year age difference. So I think that even if we did live in the same home, there probably wouldn't have been that much interaction with us as children, because obviously if I'm 8 years younger, you know, that means that he's 15, I'm 7. He's not going to want to play with me because he is that much older. So I do feel like there were a lot of things that I kind of just had to go through, not necessarily in a bad way. Like, you don't really realize it as a kid. You look back like, oh, I didn't really have anybody to look after. So I was kind of just, you know, doing this on my own. And then also our mom had us young. So in a way, I feel like she and I kind of grew up together. Like, I was the first kid, so she was trying to figure out things with me. Even when it came to like school, like a lot of times with them, they got to go to school together kind of like from jump. With me, I was by myself for like the first few years, and then like Farahd and Samad came along. So I kind of feel like I would set the blueprint, and then they would kind of follow along. Also, even like with our relationships, like with me being a woman, there were different experiences that I would have that like the males per se wouldn't have. But I do feel that it kind of made me very like leadership-like at a young age, because you are the first one. So in a way, you're born into a responsibility of trying to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that you did, or just kind of guide them because you've already been there, done that in a way. So I do feel like I kind of matured a little quicker than maybe what I would have if I were like a younger sibling, just because of that responsibility that I felt I had as an older sibling. So yeah, that's my story.
Interesting, my dog.
Great perspective, Nikila.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so the second question is, what stereotypes, if any, do you resonate with based on your birth order? So I'm going to go ahead and start this one off. So as the oldest, I think just looking back, hindsight, and just looking at like all the jobs I've had, like looking at my life, I do feel like if you didn't know me, I could probably come off as bossy. not in a sense like I'm trying to be a bitch or anything like that, but I do feel like just with the birth order and just kind of having that experience at home, like a lot of times I was the babysitter, for example, of my siblings when like my parents would, you know, leave, like it was like, oh, okay, you know, Nikila, you were going to be the one. Yeah, you're in charge. You're watching everybody. So in my mind, it's like, okay, well, if something happens, if the house burns down or whatever, then it's going to be on me. So, so I do feel like I took on a lot of responsibility, and that kind of gave me not just bossy qualities, but like I said before, like a leadership quality, which also did help me in like jobs and stuff. Like I feel like, you know, just being a manager in certain positions, like it came from me kind of managing siblings or whatever. Like you're essentially managing other children, and mind you, I'm a child too. So I'm just kind of like taking on this role, not on purpose, but because I was kind of placed into it, and you just don't really realize like how that sometimes like will affect you and just different, you know, things in your life. So I would say the stereotype would be me kind of being a little bossy and honestly sometimes judgmental, because with you going through certain things like on your own, sometimes I think like you'll look back like, oh, I should have done this differently. So then when you see somebody that you care about, your siblings going through a similar situation, and then they're doing it in a way where you're like you sometimes forget that people need to learn in their own way. Like although like you may have messed up and you may have experience in this, you don't have their experience. So I think sometimes that was kind of tough for me, and just like being judgy. Like if they do something that I don't think is right, I'm like, I wouldn't have done it like that, you know? So I kind of had to get out of that mindset. But I would say, just to kind of close it up on my end, what resonated with me is kind of being like a leader / bossy and a little judgmental. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sticking to it.
Right.
Don't stick sad.
All right, so Farahd, to just reiterate the question, what stereotypes, if any, do you feel like you resonate with?
You know what? So I've heard a few over the years as far in regards to like the second child. Now, to be honest, I'm gonna actually say a few, and I'm gonna actually ask if you, because I personally don't feel like I fall into those stigmas.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them I heard was the second child, when it's typically 3 or more, was the second child now is no longer the baby, and so then he tends to lose his place, or he or she tends to lose their place. Okay. So they tend to, I guess, steer off. Okay. I don't think that about myself. What do you guys think?
I don't think you steer off. I think that you still maintain being the oldest boy.
And I agree that I continue to play that role.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially with you, just like being the oldest boy, you still had to set that example, because there was nobody besides Quincy, older one. You know, in the household, it was you were the standard for the boy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think it would be different if I was a boy. You know what I'm saying? Then obviously that would make you the second boy. But then because like yeah, I'm the oldest, but I'm also a woman. Right. You're a man. Yeah, so it's a different dynamic.
Different responsibilities.
100%.
Exactly.
And I respect that. I'm happy to know that I don't fall in that, because I had to think about that.
Yeah.
Second one, I will say, also tends to be along the lines of, well, it's kind of the same dynamic, but ultimately it's saying, with that being said, you kind of tend to don't take family too serious, because you, again, it's kind of like you search, like, I'm going to go find my way, and I'm going to go find my importance. And which I do feel like, for me, I do feel like I know who I am, but I don't feel like I gave up on my family to find that.
Right. I don't feel like either. If you're asking a question,
well,
I don't feel...
It's actually a rhetorical question,
okay.
But I'm happy y'all gave the feedback, because I didn't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You done?
Oh, bingo.
Okay. All right, for sure. No, Farahd, that was an interesting perspective. So thank you for that. So Samad.
Man, okay, so as the middle child, I done heard a lot of crazy stereotypes about middle childs. One being, and it's crazy that you say the insignificant one, but I heard that the middle child was like the insignificant one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and especially like not being the first of anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, you the first girl, you the first boy, you the baby girl, you the baby. You know, I'm just me.
You just not.
right, so, stereotype wise, I feel like, maybe stereotype wise, I feel like the middle child can be the confused one. You know what I'm saying? And
pretty confused.
that's hilarious. The funny thing is having a sibling that was 1 year older than me and this guy that we kind of share a lot of the same features. I was like little Farahd growing up. You know what I'm saying?
God, you know what?
So I used to
in school, yeah.
Yeah, so I used to hate that. You feel me? So it's like, hey, my name is Samad. I mean, like, you know, instead of hey, little Farahd, like, what's your name? Like, you know?
I do have my own name.
Right. So that
Got my own people.
yeah. So for me, it was, you know, it really was trying to find myself, and I do music at Samad Mitchell, by the way. And when I first started doing music, I felt like that helped separate me from being Lil Farahd. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can see that.
which it helped me gravitate towards really becoming serious about music and stuff. So, yeah, stereotypes of the middle child, you know, you just insignificant. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you kind of the one that pulls everything together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm reaching this way to pull this way, and then reaching this way to pull an equal amount on that side. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess you could say, just figuring out where you sit, where you fit. You know what I'm saying? What y'all think? Y'all think I was a weirdo?
You found your voice. You found it.
So I guess like as an older sibling, like looking down, I guess not like that. You know what I mean? Okay, so I don't think that you were ever insignificant. Like, I don't think it was ever that. I think that the one thing. No. Oh, this fool. No. I think I think it's because we all grew up really close, which is something that I've always thought was cool. Because sometimes when you talk to other siblings, like they're just not close. Yeah, they're not close. Like they don't F each other. Like even doing this video, like I'm sure that there's some siblings that are like, I'm not doing a video with y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they were all cool. Like yeah, we'll come through. Like they all got here relatively on. Well, actually no, all the boys got here on time. It was her. I'm just playing. I didn't even get done curling my hair until she got here, so it's fine. But no, but yeah, just to kind of, I guess, speak to what you were saying, I don't think that it was ever like an insignificant thing. I think you just so happened to be the middle child, but I don't think that we saw what you saw.
I felt like Malcolm in the Middle. Like, remember that show?
Loki.
Loki.
But, oh my God.
No, I completely agree.
Okay.
I completely agree.
Samad, thank you for your, perspective on being middle child.
Yes, sir.
Tsion, how did you feel being the youngest girl? What stereotypes, if any, resonated with you?
So I would say I know one of the stereotypes, just being the youngest of anything, is that they're spoiled. I do not feel like I resonated with that. In fact, I actually felt like I had middle child syndrome with feeling as if I was like unseen and like kind of insignificant. Just throw that out there. Just being like the youngest or whatever, and like having two different perspectives from like, I did have a little brother, but then everybody was older. So, but definitely I didn't resonate with like being spoiled or anything like that. I think the complete opposite of that. And then I'm not sure what's another stereotype on a positive.
As far as being as the youngest?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna be
Well, that's all I can think of as far as like the typical stereotype is being spoiled, and I do not feel like I've resonated with that. But I mean, there's definitely some. What's up?
I got a little rebuttal on that. No. And I'm joking. Like, I don't think that. I know I keep talking, like when y'all talking, whatever. But I think. I'm sorry.
Can we live?
I'm sorry. I from an older sibling perspective, I don't think that any of us were necessarily spoiled in the typical sense of the word. I do think that the advantage, I would say, that I think that maybe the younger siblings had that maybe we didn't have, is we saw a lot more. Like we kind of went through like a little more
when it was a fire, we was actually there before.
We were, yeah. So it was like,
getting put
I
out.
was just surprised you now.
yeah, no. So all of us had without getting like super deep, whatever. All of us had some interesting childhoods, whatever. But I do think, right, to say the least, I do think that and I'm not saying this as a negative either. I'm saying like, it's a positive that you guys didn't have to go through like certain things, you know. I think that when things started kind of turning around, they were still kind of young and coming of age. So I'll say that. Not spoiled in a sense, like, because I don't think that any of us are spoiled. You know what I'm saying? But just like, y'all came at the right time. Let's just say that.
Real quick, speaking of fire, we actually almost burned down the crib before. Literally. Y'all remember that?
Quick story. And then, so quick story, and then we're going to let Qyiim finish it out. So, okay, the house burning down. You know what? Hold on. Let Qyiim go, and then we're going to put that story at the end. So, Qyiim, I'm going to start seeing what you done.
See, that's what I meant about that.
Shut up.
Cut off my boys.
No, I thought you was done.
I am done.
Okay, dang. Okay, so Qyiim, what childhood stereotypes, before we get into the almost burning down the house story, what stereotypes, if any, did you resonate with, or do you resonate with?
I mean, you know, well, like me being the youngest, I feel like a lot of times, like my voice kind of was like not like really like heard. It was kind of just like, you know, like this. I'm quite sure this goes on with a lot of like the youngest, because they the youngest. You feel me? Like it's like everybody watching over the youngest. You feel me? But like, you know, I feel like sometimes my voice is just, you know, just wasn't getting heard. You know, so you know, I feel like when I could speak, you feel me, I would just speak, you feel me? And then I feel like if something wasn't like, if I was to get brushed under the rug, I would be like super sensitive. I'm not sensitive, it's just like, all right, can I speak my piece? You feel me? That's how I feel, you feel me? So I feel like that'll probably be like the stereotype of my of being the youngest, like being like oversensitive, but I'm really not sensitive, I'm really just over passionate, you feel me? So that's just how I am, and that's just how that's a stereotype that I feel like resonates with my son. I mean, my birth order.
I can respect that. And,
Sure.
I know I just keep talking.
I can see it.
I know I just keep talking. But I think to speak to that, I've seen that with you. Not necessarily in a bad way, but I think it's like kind of like that transition of like, not saying that anything you said was insignificant, but like you're going from a child to now being an adult. So then, whereas you were becoming an adult, we had to adjust to you being an adult. Like we had to remember, like, okay, this is a grown man that we're talking to. Yes, he's the youngest, you know, but he's not 7 anymore. He's, you know, damn near 27. You know what I'm saying?
5 for 10 years.
You were 5
for 10 years or so.
You were 5 for a long time, but
That was some wise words the way you put it.
oh, thank
That
you.
was-
Yeah, bro, it's 5 for a minute. I remember that.
It was like,
That's
he's
hilarious.
never gonna be 6. What's
How
going
old
on?
are you? 5, like you 15. What you talking about?
Right.
Oh, got facial. Oh, the hell, what you talking about? I ain't 5.
that's the thing, just seeing it like from an older sibling point of view. I think it's like, and just honestly with all you guys, like I think a little bit less probably with like the 3 of us because we're so close in age, but like with you guys, it was like, wait a minute, they're grown now, so I kind of gotta talk to them like they're grown, you know. So yeah,
Calm down.
yeah. But okay, so quick story. I'm gonna let you tell the story since you were the culprit about how he almost burned down the house. and mind you, don't forget, I was in charge. I was in charge. So
That she was. Remember that. That she was.
Bad babysitter.
oh my God.
Hey, for real. Also the Simpsons for y'all who
Classic.
Right.
Look, check this out. Let's just say it's let's just set the setting. It's the day after 4th of July, right? We still got some fireworks, right? We still got some left going. And mine is mid-July, it's scorching hot outside, so the grass in our backyard, we had a pretty big backyard at the time, right? And with, you know, the way we was, the backyard was a jungle gym.
Right.
So we had this this tire, right? And I'm sure y'all know the sky rockets, the ones where you just light it, shoots up in the sky, don't, right?
The sound effect.
So we have the whole set. We have our leftover fireworks, but lighting. We lit a few of them actually. If I remember, we lit a few of them. Went up, boom, we're good. So I just remember the last one that we lit. You know, we're kids, so we're sitting there round back, waiting for it to go up. Nothing goes up. Next thing you know, we as we're getting closer to kind of, you know, let's fix it. And it just
Hey,
it goes in
we
flames.
had some dry grass.
Right. So
It was
even-
no green.
no green. It was just all brown.
It was like, hey.
Right. So yeah, back to the point why it was so good in the summer. It was like the grass was so dry. I mean, the whole backyard was just engulfed in flames. And hey, by the grace of God, we was able to get it out. But I just remember the first thing we thought was bathtub,
Buckets of water.
and buckets of water.
Since there was so many of us, we literally made like a what's that called? Like the little line. You know, we passed the buckets. You know what I'm saying? We all kids, so I'm thinking about it now. It was hilarious and tight that we was able to put it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Without calling the fire trucks or nothing. But
That really
Hey,
is
but
our
look,
teamwork.
That is teamwork for sure.
It left we couldn't even hide it though because it was a huge black, just like,
Hey,
what did y'all do?
Y'all remember
Bobby
what we
come
tried
home
to
like,
use?
what the?
Hey, y'all remember how we tried to use the tires and you know put it up, try to put some over,
We were
take the
trying to
leaves,
cover
try
it
to
up.
cover up the grass, but the whole backyard is engulfed. Like,
It was just,
Scorched.
yeah.
scorched, right.
my mama came home. What the hell did y'all do?
Like, you don't even want to say.
Hey, but this is the one thing I will say. As a kid, I will never forget this particular moment. Being the kid that lit up a backyard on fire and looking over at the neighbor and him just looking.
Right.
Not even helping.
Grown
My he ain't even
Not even
help.
helping.
He ain't even
Just
call. Just
Just
smoking.
like, sir, if this
If you
burns
remember
down, you could burn down with
You
it.
was in danger too.
All right, you guys. So I know that last segment was a little bit long, but I mean, we had to tell y'all the story of how they almost burned down the house. So
Goody too. He just in the house. Just in the crib.
in the house, scared. But anyway,
Remember, she was watching this though.
That's
oh,
why.
he just want to add that in there. Okay, that's cool. So the last question is, how do you feel that your birth position has affected you, if it has, in adulthood? And I'm gonna go on ahead and give this back to the youngest. So, Qyiim, if you could do the honors.
Yeah. So my birth position, I feel like it affected me in a good way because you know, I'm the youngest, but I do big things. You know, actually, you know, but you know, I feel like it affected me in a good way because I learned to just, you know, just stay in my lane and just do what you do, and everything will come to you if you grind hard and, you know, set the bar. You feel me? So that's pretty much how I feel like that affected me by being the youngest in my adulthood.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Qyiim, for your input. Tsion, aka Tyson.
That's what they call it.
Can you
That's what they call it.
same question?
Well, I also feel like my birth order has affected me in a positive way. Being an adult, it's always cool to just have. It's cool us being adults now because it's like, you know, you go through adult issues and adult experiences and stuff like that, and so to be able to bounce those experiences off of, you know, each other, whether it be new experiences and, you know, letting them know about my experiences and everybody being able to fully understand as adults of the capacity of those experiences. It's just a beautiful thing, you know? So yeah, all in a good way. And I just think, like, I look back and I feel like just having so many siblings growing up is so much of a benefit now that I'm older, looking back, where when I was younger, at one point it was like, hey, I wish it was just me. I gotta share everything, you know? So it's like, yeah, so it's like just being older though and having a unit of a village of us really that's so close knit. I think that just overall is just a benefit. So that's, I don't know if that necessarily goes with birth order per se, but it's just dope having some really cool siblings.
Oh my God. Amen to that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Tsion, thank you so much for your input on that.
You're welcome.
Whoa. That was aggressive. Samai, same question.
Did being a middle child affect me as an adult? If anything, I would say it just made me kind of look at things as like, don't judge nobody based upon age. You know what I'm saying? You could be old and dumb. You could be young and smart. Not saying that. My whole point is, you can be like, your age don't determine nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can. All right, boom. Nah, but real talk. Being the middle child, it just like I feel like it affected me as an adult to just kind of respect the people that's older than you and respect the people that's younger than you. Eventually, the tides will always turn. The young will be the older, you know what I'm saying, and the older will be the old. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
It could be the even more old.
Right. So with that being said, it's just like don't judge nobody based upon their age. Based upon their circumstance, everybody got something to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what it is.
I like that,
brother.
Yeah,
I like that. Thank you, Samad. We appreciate your perspective. Now, Farahd, what about you? How do you think it's affected you in adulthood?
Now, as I would say more or less, I think my birth order probably only affected me, to be honest, when I was a kid. But as far as being an adult, I feel like it's only, I can't really necessarily put it on a pedestal line. I can only more or less, again, I'm aware of my birth order, and as an adult, I can more or less, I can peel some stuff from this guy who's X amount of years younger than me, and I can kind of now relate to that age group. For her or somebody who's heard, you know, people who's older than me or in my age bracket, and even still with him, I feel like in his, the one thing that I get from all you guys is I can kind of learn, like it's certain questions that may come to my head that I already know in my head. I'm going to Qyiim. It's another question that may come to my head. I'm going to Tsion, and vice versa with everybody else, right? So I feel like overall it wouldn't necessarily be an effect. I would say it's just the outlook that I have from having you guys. I mean, having this age range as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Also, the biggest thing, to be honest, is I'm a man, they're women now, right? So I can kind of more or less, ask more drastic and deeper questions to kind of get a better understanding from a woman who's going to kind of just tell me what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so from that perspective, you know, I wouldn't say it affected me, I just say I can peel, it's different. I can take a look here, take a look at there.
Amen to that.
Yes.
All right, so I think for me it's really simple. It's almost as if, like, similar to what they were saying, where they feel like now that we're adults, like you can kind of come to your siblings, whether they're older or younger, about like different things. That's actually how I feel. So whereas I felt like I was like a leader when we were children, I feel like in a way I'm still kind of a leader just because that's how we grew up. So like they'll still come to me about different things that they may not have been through, but the difference now is that I can come to them as well about things that I may not have been through, because as adults we all have a different path. So yeah, we grew up in the same house, but then everybody grows up, everybody's in their own situation, everybody's got their own life experiences, and I might be able to come to Samad about something, or Farahd about something, or even Qyiim and Tsion, even though they're younger than me. I do feel like in a way the gap closes as you get older. So it's like 10 years, there's a 10-year age between Qyiim and I, so 10 years when we were 15, 10 years when we were 15 and 5 is way different than, you know, now being 36 and him being 26. There's things that I can come to him, I can talk to him about, and I can actually get a valuable opinion, something that I can use, whereas maybe when he was 5, I mean, he's 5. So, you know, I think that that's the benefit. And then I think that in a way too, like as you grow older, your siblings kind of become, well, the hope is that your siblings become more of like your friends. Yeah. So like I always joke about, I mean, you guys know I have a little son, and I always joke that like it's cool that my mom has so many kids, because if I need help, and similar to him, he has a daughter, so if we need help, we have like all these people that we can kind of like count on that we know will take care of our child the way they would take care of their own. So I think that just like they were saying, like as far as an effect, I think that I guess the positive effect for me is having that leadership experience early on. I think it's helped me professionally, just, you know, working with different people and kind of being able to bring that perspective to like a professional situation, and then also being able to like run my household. I feel like I'm very organized, and they always joke about, you know, me saying the proper words and this thing like that, but I always felt like I was setting an example, you know, and
good example.
Words even more.
Great example, though, yeah.
You could be articulate and from the ghetto.
Exactly, but they always make fun of me because like I don't know, it'll be a random word, and they'll be like, why couldn't you have just said this as opposed to like, why did you have to use that term? And it's just you know, just being the oldest.
Too old instead of water. Just say water.
Just say water. I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but basically I do feel like it more than affects, it is kind of like, it's a good thing. Again, like you just kind of have like ready-made friends as, when you have this many siblings.
Friends!
How many?
I knew y'all was gonna say I didn't shut up.
Dang, predictable. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you did stick around to the end of this video, I know it's been kind of lengthy, and every time we do a Carpet Chronicles, it's pretty lengthy because we have a lot to say. And I just feel like with all of my family, as you can see, our dynamic on camera is amazing. So basically the whole point of this video was just to kind of talk about, I feel, our unique experience as siblings. As I was saying in the beginning, I don't really know, like we know people that have as many siblings as we do, but I think kind of like in our immediate circles, we are like the big family. Like it's just so many of us. Like a lot of our friends have one sibling, or maybe they're an only child, things like that. So we kind of have a unique situation where we're all super close to each other, like as a collective and individually. And I don't know, I just think it's something special that like we should talk about more. And I also wanted to just kind of talk about everybody's personal experience with the birth order, because you always hear things about the oldest kid, the middle kid, the youngest kid, So I wanted you guys to kind of hear like a real life perspective from my family. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna let everybody else go ahead and conclude, and we will close this out. So, Farahd.
Let's get it.
Oh, that's all?
Let's get it.
All right, well, Farahd says let's get it. Samad, what do you want to say in conclusion?
In conclusion, these are some amazing people. I wouldn't trade them for the world. Mixed Box Story on YouTube. I got music videos. Check me out on all platforms, man. Samad Mitchell. You know what I'm saying?
I'll put everything in the description.
All of that. And but in conclusion, we're dope. And if you got siblings, cherish them, because if you don't now, you will one day. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Or you gonna have the time to cherish them one day.
Yeah.
Can I take more? Cause you stole my turn.
Okay. That was odd. That was different. Tsion, do you have anything to say in conclusion?
In conclusion, yes I do. Wait, where's? Oh yeah. In conclusion, yes, I love these people to life. I'm happy that just to be a part of this unit, and yeah, it's cool. He had mentioned it actually earlier, but it's cool. I know if I have some type of issue or dilemma or some advice that I need, I know depending on what it is, okay, I'm gonna call Qyiim, or I'm gonna call Samad, or I'm gonna call Farahd, or I'm gonna call Kela. And it's like you're gonna get a different perspective from everybody because we've all had different experiences, and that's just, it's so beautiful to have that as an adult now, just in our close knit unit. Because obviously we all have friends too, but it's like these are the real life day one.
Yeah,
literally,
yeah. Thank you, Tsion.
You're welcome.
Qyiim, do you have anything to say in conclusion?
Yeah, well, in conclusion, growing up as kids, the games you play like the puzzles and stuff. Each and every one of us is a valuable puzzle piece to our whole puzzle. You feel me?
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Can't be one without the other. You feel me? So we gotta do what we gotta do, and we love each other. You feel me?
Yeah.
Let me just say one more thing, because mine was actually extremely short.
Right. I'm like, hey, you ain't got that to
Okay,
say.
let me let you know how I feel. You know what I mean? No, but on a serious note, to keep it 100, I want to know where I would be without these individuals. Not to put a little bit of extra salt to because I came in last, but I really want to know, like, it's a lot of different things that I've been through, and they all know, because that's what happened. These are the first people I kind of think about. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I got kids now and all that other good stuff, whatever, nephews, all that good stuff. But it's the first order unit. It's like you need to keep that solid unit for community. And I know we talking about marriage and all that stuff, whatever. But I feel like this community right here, it breathes out the start.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Well, again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not already, definitely Definitely click that subscribe button. Make sure you give this video a like. Share it if you like. If you like the video, share it with whoever. Subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. With that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.
Mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your back, it's like I never knew you. Leave that.